I want to explain to you why I stopped shaving and how it's helped me socially and personally. I want to talk about transcending the flirt, and I hope that maybe by the end of this video, you will be better connected with your own priorities. I'm so tired of shooting this video. I have an itch here. I just want to shave this off, so this might not be perfect, but here we go. First, get a good look. Get a real good look. Let's show you my hair. And you see my unibrow as well? Can you see that? Let's just put up a photo. That's good. Alright, anyway, folks. This is part 1. The other parts will come out later in my spiritual journey, probably. And I'm not like a self-help guru or anything, but maybe I can pass on some things that I'm learning, which is the purpose of this channel. Alright, so a few months ago, I stopped combing my hair and stopped shaving. I also stopped hollering. I did it because I wanted to change something. And the way I was fine. I was confident, cool, whatever. The problem was what I wanted and how it affected how I felt and how I spent my time and energy. I wanted to be able to pull any woman. Hearing
I like you
felt awesome.
I love you
Felt like the ultimate success. Some of you may think that your chase is about sex. For me, it was I love you. In any case, I think we're all wrong. I think it's actually about validation. The feeling of self-worth when a person chooses you to fill their emotional, romantic, sexual spot. And the more attractive that person is, the better. Because now it's a person with options choosing you above everyone else to fill that coveted one-seater in their heart, mind, and groin. So let me tell you about the consequences of this for me. When I saw a beautiful woman, I wasn't really seeing a person, but an untapped source of validation. If I could pull her, how awesome would I feel? The fact that it was untapped and seemed untappable could be stressful. Shit. I don't know that I could pull her. And if I can't, I'm less than the guy who can. And also, I'd worry about whether a woman I couldn't imagine myself being happy with in the long run was going to text me back. And hanging out with only guys was boring to me when compared to the thrill of flirting, of will she, won't she, of can I, can't I. And I think that's for a lot of you that it may be more true than maybe you care to admit, that maybe you don't even like to have ugly friend girls, or ugly friends, because that takes out maybe the fun of chasing the beautiful person. So let me tell you what I wanted to want. I wanted to not be so goddamn thirsty. I wanted to focus on meaningful relationships. I wanted to focus on meaningful relationships and get the most out of them rather than be distracted by sexiness and seduction. I wanted to just be myself, feel comfortable just being me without any agenda. I wanted to not feel frustrated when rejected. I wanted to not spend oodles of money on things designed just to make me more attractive. Like, how much money have you spent on shoes or clothes or thought about pickup lines or getting a table at a club? You don't get a table at a club so that you and your friends can have a bit of privacy. You spend all that money to attract the validation of your preferred sex. Well, that's what I think. That's what I was doing. A friend of mine said that, of course, you need to look nice in order to capture your soulmate's attention. Okay, yeah. But if I don't look nice and I don't capture her attention, do I lose my chance? If so, you're saying that this is a person I see only once? Or I see a lot of people once. So should I approach each one that is attractive? Or spend all this money and time in case the right person sees me in the street and approaches me and we get married and live happily ever after, even though most of us meet our partners in classes, at work, through mutual friends, or online anyway? And let's say that you meet someone attractive on the street. You and that person immediately employ seduction techniques which cause you both to enjoy yourselves until several dates or several years of marriage later, you realize you don't actually have enough in common. And I did that. I walked up to girls on the street and asked them to a coffee or a drink or something, and sometimes they'd agree. Side note, I should note that approaching women like that is a gross abuse of my privilege and the current state of gender education. But also, on a personal level, what a waste of time it was. What's worse is that our society pushes this goal of being attractive, but doesn't actually respect it all that much. Even if you're super sexy and social and get all kinds of likes in your Instagram, people are going to go, okay, but what have they achieved? What do they know? Do they got money? Okay, so I'm not saying that society's priorities are necessarily right, but it's funny how little attractiveness is actually valued compared to how much it's encouraged. And it's totally natural. It's deep in our biology to flaunt for our preferred sex because sex tends to mean reproduction. So those people whose genes focus them on romantic pursuits are those people whose genes survived. All right, so how did I rise above this piece of my genetic code? Last year, 3 Israelis helped me do it. The first is a longtime friend of mine, who we'll call Oasis. She has repeatedly shamed me for all the women I would have in my life. And then I read a book that had nothing to do with any of this, but it's excellent, by the Israeli author Yuval Noah Harari. It's called A Brief History of Humankind. And as a side note, it talks about one of the principles of Buddhism, that suffering is caused by wanting. And by reducing our wants, we can reduce our suffering. And then one night while I'm reading this, I see this beautiful Israelite at this bar. We'll call her Shush. And my friend girl and I end up going back to her and her friend's hotel room. And at this point in my life, playing Truth or Dare with 3 beautiful women still felt like living the dream. And it wasn't until the next day that they invited me to lunch that it would all click deep in my soul. Here I am eating a free meal with 2 gorgeous honeys who say nothing significant except that and a perspective that they consider indisputable. And it's like, what am I doing? I went from needing to get beautiful women, but knowing it was stupid, to feeling deep in my soul that it was a frivolous pursuit. And this girl was gorgeous. And I'm sitting there thinking, now what? I'm not getting any closer to anything that I actually feel is worthwhile. I'm doing it all just to feed the need of my ego.
It wasn't just about the way they were acting and the things they were saying. It was about how you acted around them. I mean, I was never, ever so disappointed in you in my life. Well, like when we were playing Truth or Dare with them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was in flirt mode. I wasn't really being myself. I was just being what I thought they wanted me to act like, and yeah.
So why wasn't it just lesson learned and I changed my ways? Why I stopped shaving? I needed to make it as difficult as possible to fall back into old habits and desires. I needed to make it so that if one night I saw a beautiful girl and felt temptation, which I have as recently as yesterday, I'd be forced to take a step back. I needed to expose myself to rejection as much as possible, not even from her directly, externally with actual experience, just internally, to look at a woman whose validation I would love to have and immediately realize I wouldn't get it and be okay with that. So, over the following month, I stopped shaving, I stopped Tindering, I stopped going to bars for women. In fact, I now love just hanging out with friends. Guys I just met. I'll see a beautifully made up woman walking down the street, and even if I feel some sexual urge, I simultaneously feel the now what that I'd feel after winning her over. It's empty. It's an empty compulsive pursuit, and I finally deeply understand that. I don't feel like less when I'm rejected. When a woman rejects me, I know she wasn't her. And my ego has begun rewiring itself. I find validation elsewhere, like in my professional or academic accomplishments. If not internally, just plain old self-love. I honestly feel above the stupid, romantic rat race. So what's next? So maybe you don't know what she'll be like. Well, I recommend figure it out. And know that she will love you. I think that's another thing that has helped me. As much of a scientist as I am, one belief I'm happy not to shake is that she and I will be together. I don't think I'm going to die alone. I don't think you're going to die alone. So love yourself and do things that matter so that when she comes along, she'll see that. Not a pickup line or a fancy pair of shoes you saw in an advert. You. Do you. Love you. And he or she will too. That's what I think I figured out. But it took looking like this, letting myself gain weight and so on, to really take the lesson. Maybe it'll be a valuable lesson for you. I hope so. Anyway, I need to shave this off.
I wasn't ready. Sex scene. I'm not ready. Oh no!